Hello, everyone, and welcome to this moment with Vida. My name is Francine Colangelo, and I'll be your host for that series of interview, starting with the new star of our show, Vida. Hello, Vida.
Hello.
So tell us, Vida, what is exactly your role now in Mastering Alchemy?
I wear a lot of hats. I got a really great email that came out when Mastering Alchemy said, "Hey, we're looking for someone who has experience in marketing and in websites and in business, and they're looking to grow." And I got that email. It's like, oh my goodness, I think that's me. That's with all my background that I've been working in marketing for years, building websites. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is it. This is my piece. So I was really excited to be able to take that opportunity.
So what are those different hats?
Oh, yes, the different hats. Oh, there's a lot of hats. It goes from the website to the community, the online community, to what are we talking about? How are we talking about it? So many different areas of growth and expansion, and how are we bringing Mastering Alchemy to the world? I got to explain it once. It's a Mastering Alchemy is kind of the best kept secret. Like, how did you hear about it? I hear about it from a friend. She's like, "Hey, I was at a conference. I met this wonderful lady, and we became fast friends." And she's like, "Hey, I think you might like this thing called Mastering Alchemy. Why don't you give it a try?" And so I was like, oh, okay. So that's a lot of people's stories, is either a friend or a referral, or they just kind of happened upon it accidentally. So I'm excited to take kind of the best kept secret and bring some expansion there. So
Okay. And what do you like most about what you're doing now with us?
cool. It's like Candyland. What do I like most?
Most.
Oh boy. That's a really hard question because there's so many areas I get to play in. So we are working on adding more video, and video is so fun to work and play in. We have some amazing editors and design talent. I've worked in design for years, and that's been fun. And so it's exciting. And then I love working with people. Like, there are so many talented people in our community and just bright, shiny stars. And so it's really exciting to meet them and work with them. And I guess that's probably the part in community that I love. Everyone's so excited to be together and to enjoy one another, and to find their people. I guess is one of the comments I saw the other night. Like, I found my people, and I'm like, oh, it does feel so good to find your tribe. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, so there's so many areas I get to play in. And it's such a learning. I think probably the biggest part is the learning for me too. There's a lot of learning and growing that I get to do as I'm becoming a more masterful creator. Like, how I'm doing things. Am I thinking about this? Is it sloppy? Is it did we just toss this out there and hope it worked? So becoming masterful is fun, and it's both inside the work of Mastering Alchemy for me personally, as well as it is helping Mastering Alchemy grow. So it's very dynamic.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, how did you first get attracted to Mastering Alchemy? Not when you heard about it. Once you went and visited, I suppose, the website, what clicked for you?
That was where my friend was like, "Hey, I think you might like this." Um, when I visited the website, I was a little bit like, "Well, I don't know. This is interesting." So there's a little bit of hesitation there, but I was really excited once I started listening to it, and I was like, "Oh, wait, what's this?" When you start getting into kind of building the cube, and you get into the octahedron and the idea about the structure of energy, it really made sense to me. from a scientific point of view, because I have a very strong rational mind that likes to understand things really well. So this kind of laid out a lot of things that couldn't be explained in a way that could be understood. And then I was like, oh, that makes sense. So that's kind of how that fell into.
That's very interesting. Can you tell me what has changed most in your life since doing level 1?
Wow. I feel like, because I just finished 5, I feel like I'm also back on level 1 in the same way.
Maybe that's part of what changed the most, is that you realize that once you've done all the work, you're ready to learn more. Maybe that's part of it.
I think level 1, when I finished it, was relief. It was like, oh, this makes sense. How come nobody's explaining this or teaching this to other people? There's a lot of things that I feel but don't understand. So it was really, really helpful to just kind of have a level of understanding, a foothold, I guess. And so now that I've finished all the way through to level 5, and now that I'm back in level, kind of am back and playing in the tools again, right in the base tools, they're so different and there's so much more to them. So that's exciting.
Can you tell us which of the MA tools is your favorite?
Oh boy.
I know we're not supposed to have favorites, we're supposed to love everything equally, but
Oh, you will always, I have a tendency of just going, I love to 8th ray everything. Pull out my magic wand and 8th ray it. So that's probably one of my favorite tools. But the one that I'm really starting to understand now that I've kind of gone through like 5 years of this work is the rose, the one you learn on level 1. I still have a lot of centering, if that's the right word, and really establishing that space in a stronger, more prominent way and carrying that. That's a big challenge for me. So good.
That's part of treading the path.
Yes. I'm masterful.
One question that only between MAers, I think, can we ask is, do you talk about MA to your friends and family? Or are you just afraid that you'll be the weirdo in the room? Or you're already the weirdo in the room?
It's been a little of both, right? So I'm definitely the weirdo in the room, because I'll bring up and say, a question that says, well, that might be possible. And they're like, well, that's not possible. You can't do, so you get a lot of that. So yeah, I'd say a little bit of both. I'm definitely not the normal person in the room, but I think that's definitely what makes it fun, I guess. Maybe I use that to my advantage a little too much. I'm like, oh, are you sure that's how it has to be?
Oh, yeah, that's part of the process.
Yeah.
And if there was one thing that you want people to know about you and about this next level we're all reaching, what would it be?
What do I want everyone to know about this next level and everything we're reaching to? Like for Mastering Alchemy?
And you in Mastering Alchemy?
I find myself in awe and completely floored at the changes that are ahead. In a funny way, I know it, but I don't know it. And that's kind of the oddest place to be in, because I only know that community is a very pivotal place for us to play now. And I'm just starting to get little glimpse of why, because it's building to something bigger. And when we talk about like mastering, I'm just going to use Mastering Alchemy as an example, and then I can apply it to myself. But as like with Mastering Alchemy, the now that we have the kind of subscription base, it's very open, it's very dynamic. You can not only start with level 1, you can start in Park Bench, or you can take Female Alchemy. And so how do you, and then there's the whole community piece. So how do you navigate? Like, this is a lot of information. And how do you move through that? And how do these pieces play together? It's such a dynamic level of learning that's unlike anything before, because it's both experiential. It's both something a little bit like intellectual, because you're learning the basics as you kind of, or remembering some of those things. And so it has a really interesting flow to it, where it's one piece over here, one piece over here. And then the community adds in. It's just, I'm floored at the dynamic piece that is adding in. I don't think it's seen just yet. But I think it will be as we kind of go forward in the next couple of months. So I'm really excited to see that happen. So I think for me personally, it applies in the same way, where the level of learning is so dynamic now that you're moving through all of the different layers of content and the different pieces of information, and it's just bleeding into everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty fascinating and exciting to see. So
that's an amazing answer, really. And I think it confirms what we were told somewhere in the process over the 5 years, 5 levels, that as you put the foot out, then it's built under your foot, the new architecture. And you've described that, in my opinion, with multi-layer. I thank you so much, Vida, for allowing us to know you a little better and feel more connected to you. And I hope everybody has enjoyed this time as much as I have. Until we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine.